Have you ever wondered what it would be like to walk without pain, with lightness even after turning 70, 80, or even 90 years old? How many times have you heard that aging means losing strength, mobility, and quality of life? The truth is, many people believe this is an unavoidable sentence. But today I want to share the inspiring story of Don Ernesto, a 90-year-old gentleman who is proving the opposite. He shows us that it is indeed possible to age with health, vitality, and without those pains that steal our peace. Don Ernesto had always been an active man. He loved walking around the neighborhood, visiting friends, and taking care of his garden. But over the years, he began feeling heavy legs, knee pain, and that constant weakness that seemed endless. That feeling when every step is a challenge, when standing up from a chair takes a huge effort. That was his reality. Till one day, during a conversation with a physical therapist, he got a wake-up call. The problem wasn't just age, it was also a deficiency in essential nutrients. And here's the question you might be asking yourself too. How can the lack of a few vitamins affect our mobility so much? The answer is simple but powerful. Our body needs certain nutrients to keep muscles strong, joints lubricated, and collagen, that protein that supports our tissues, always in production. Without them, wear and tear comes faster. Joints get inflamed, muscles lose strength, and bones become weaker. Don Ernesto's case was a classic example of this. For years, he treated the symptoms with painkillers, anti-inflammatory meds, and rest. But nothing seemed to bring lasting relief. The turning point came when he decided to investigate the root cause. That's when he discovered the impact that a lack of 6 specific vitamins was having on his body. And once he started replenishing these nutrients, the transformation began. Let me tell you, this wasn't some overnight miracle. It took consistency, commitment, and above all, the right information. Within a few weeks, Don Ernesto noticed that climbing stairs was no longer a torture. The burning pain in his knees started to ease, and little by little he regained the confidence to walk longer distances without fear of falling. But what exactly are these 6 vitamins that changed everything for him? And more importantly, how can they help you too? Well, before I reveal each one, it's important to understand how aging affects our muscles and joints at a biological level. After the age of 50, our body naturally reduces the production of collagen and elastin. These are like the glue and elastic bands of our body, keeping everything firm and flexible. At the same time, there's a decline in muscle mass, a process known as sarcopenia. This makes everyday tasks feel heavier and increases the risk of injuries. And as if that weren't enough, joints begin to lose their natural lubrication, making movements stiff and painful. This is why so many people over 50 start experiencing knee pain, hip discomfort, and that annoying creaking in the joints. Studies show that up to 30% of adults over 60 suffer from some degree of mobility limitation. That means nearly 1 in 3 people can't walk or climb stairs without difficulty. And unfortunately, this often leads to a vicious cycle. Pain causes inactivity, which leads to more weakness, which causes even more pain. But here's the good news. Just like Don Ernesto, you don't have to accept this as your destiny. Science has proven that with the right nutrients, it's possible to rebuild strength, restore flexibility, and protect your joints from further damage. These 6 vitamins I'm about to share are like fuel for your muscles, cushions for your joints, and raw material for your body's natural repair systems. So, if you've been feeling tired, struggling with leg pain, or noticing that your balance isn't what it used to be, stay with me, because understanding and incorporating these vitamins into your routine could be a true game changer for your health and your future mobility. The first essential vitamin on this list is vitamin D, often called the sunshine vitamin. Vitamin D plays a crucial role in maintaining strong bones and muscles. Without enough of it, your body struggles to absorb calcium properly, which can lead to brittle bones and increase the risk of fractures. But that's not all. Vitamin D is also responsible for muscle contraction and strength. In older adults, deficiency in this vitamin is directly linked to falls and reduced mobility. Don Ernesto's blood tests showed alarmingly low levels, and correcting that was one of the first steps in his recovery. Next up is vitamin C, a powerful antioxidant that is absolutely essential for collagen production. Remember that collagen I mentioned earlier? Without enough vitamin C, your body simply can't produce the collagen needed to keep your joints flexible and your skin, ligaments, and tendons strong. Don Ernesto started increasing his intake of foods rich in vitamin C, like oranges, kiwis, and bell peppers. But he also opted for a targeted supplement to speed up the process. Within weeks, he noticed a significant reduction in joint stiffness. The third nutrient on the list is vitamin E, another antioxidant, but this one with a special role in reducing inflammation. Chronic inflammation is one of the main culprits behind joint pain and muscle weakness as we age. Studies have shown that vitamin E can help combat oxidative stress, protect muscle cells, and even improve recovery after physical activity. Don Ernesto's routine started including almonds, sunflower seeds, and a quality supplement with natural vitamin E. The improvement in his energy levels was noticeable. Let's talk now about vitamin K2, often forgotten but extremely important, especially when we talk about bone and joint health. Vitamin K2 helps direct calcium to the right places in the body, into the bones and teeth, and away from the arteries and soft tissues where it doesn't belong. Without enough K2, the calcium you absorb can end up in your joints, contributing to stiffness and pain. For Don Ernesto, adding vitamin K2 along with vitamin D created a synergistic effect that strengthened his bones and improved his joint mobility. Moving on, we have B-complex vitamins, with special emphasis on vitamin B12. This vitamin is essential for nerve health and energy production. As we age, our ability to absorb B12 from food decreases, leading to symptoms like fatigue, muscle weakness, and even balance issues. Don Ernesto's B12 levels were critically low, which explained a lot of the tiredness he had been feeling for years. With B12 supplementation, his energy levels began to return, and his walking endurance improved dramatically. And finally, the sixth vitamin in this powerful combination, magnesium. Although technically a mineral, its role in muscle function is so vital that it's often included in lists like this. Magnesium helps with muscle relaxation and contraction, nerve function, and even sleep quality. Low magnesium levels are linked to cramps, muscle weakness, and chronic fatigue. Don Ernesto started consuming more green leafy vegetables, nuts, and whole grains, and also added a magnesium supplement, especially before bed, to improve muscle recovery overnight. It's important to highlight that these vitamins don't work like magic pills. The secret lies in consistency. Don Ernesto didn't take them once and expect results. He incorporated them daily, adjusted his diet, stayed hydrated, and followed a light exercise routine recommended by his doctor. That's what created the foundation for his transformation. It's about creating a supportive environment inside your body, so healing and strengthening can happen naturally. Another interesting point is that scientific research backs up these results. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology followed adults over 65 who took a combination of vitamin D, B12, and magnesium for 6 months. The findings showed significant improvements in muscle strength, balance, and walking speed. This isn't just anecdotal, it's evidence-based healthcare. And when you combine that with other key nutrients like vitamin C, E, and K2, the benefits multiply. Don Ernesto often says that he feels like he's got his life back. Today, he wakes up, makes his own breakfast, waters his plants, and walks to the market with no fear of falling or feeling exhausted. Of course, he still has his limits. It's natural. But what changed was his quality of life. The ability to move without pain gave him back something priceless, dependence. And maybe that's exactly what you're looking for right now. Maybe you're tired of living with pain, avoiding stairs, or saying no to things you love because your body simply doesn't cooperate anymore. If that's the case, I want you to know, it's not too late. Your body still responds. And with the right nutrients and habits, just like Don Ernesto, you too can experience real and lasting improvement. Now you might be wondering, How can you start introducing these 6 vitamins into your daily routine in a practical way? The good news is that you don't necessarily need a shelf full of supplements. The first step is to assess your current diet. Are you getting enough leafy greens, citrus fruits, nuts, seeds, dairy, and whole grains? Small changes like adding a spinach salad, snacking on almonds, or drinking a fresh orange juice in the morning can already make a big difference in your vitamin intake. However, I also understand that for many people over 50, food alone might not be enough. That's when a good quality multivitamin or specific targeted supplements come into play. But here's the catch. Not all supplements are created equal. Don Ernesto learned this the hard way. For years, he bought cheap multivitamins from the pharmacy thinking they would help. But the doses were too low, the absorption was poor, and the results were almost imperceptible. It was only when he switched to high bioavailability products recommended by his doctor that he started noticing real improvements. Another key point is the timing and combination of these vitamins. For example, vitamins D and K2 work best when taken together, preferably with a meal containing some healthy fats to improve absorption. Vitamin C can enhance the absorption of other nutrients like iron, which also plays a role in energy levels. And B-complex vitamins, especially B12, are often better absorbed when taken in the morning to support energy throughout the day. Understanding these small details can make a big difference in how your body utilizes each nutrient. And let's not forget hydration. Muscles and joints rely heavily on proper hydration to function well. Don Ernesto made it a point to drink at least 1.5 liters of water per day, sometimes adding a pinch of sea salt or a squeeze of lemon to improve electrolyte balance. This simple habit helped reduce muscle cramps and improved his overall energy. If you've been neglecting water intake, this might be an easy place to start right now. Besides nutrition, movement played a crucial role in his recovery. At first, Don Ernesto started with just 5 minutes of walking inside his house, holding onto furniture for support. Gradually, he increased the duration and intensity, always respecting his limits, but pushing just enough to stimulate his muscles and joints. Today, he walks at least 30 minutes a day, which is a huge achievement compared to where he started. Sleep was another pillar. Did you know that most of your muscle repair and collagen production happens while you sleep? For years, Don Ernesto had poor sleep quality, waking up multiple times during the night. But as he improved his vitamin levels and added magnesium to his routine, his sleep became deeper and more restorative. And better sleep meant more energy during the day, less inflammation, and faster recovery from physical activity. Something beautiful about Don Ernesto's journey is how it inspired his family too. His grandchildren started paying more attention to their diets, his daughter joined him for morning walks, and even his neighbors started asking about his secret. It created a ripple effect of health and motivation in his community. And honestly, that's one of the most powerful parts of this story. When one person decides to mudar de vida, everyone around feels the impact. If you're sitting there thinking that your case is too difficult or that your age is a barrier, I want you to pause and reflect. Don Ernesto was 90. He spent decades feeling limited and in pain. But with small, consistent changes, he rewrote his story. And you can too. Your body still wants to heal. Your muscles still want to regain strength. Your joints still crave better lubrication and less inflammation. And your future self will thank you for every little step you start taking today. So, what's the next practical step for you? First, talk to your doctor about checking your vitamin levels, especially D, B12, and magnesium. Ask if it's time to start supplementation. Review your diet and see where you can naturally increase your intake of these nutrients. And most importantly, start moving. Even if it's just standing up from the chair a few more times a day, it already signals your body that change is happening. And of course, if you want, you can write down these 6 essential vitamins right now. Vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin K2, vitamin B12, and magnesium. Keep this list with you. Save it on your phone, stick it on your fridge, whatever works. Because this small reminder can be the start of something truly transformative for your health. Let's take a moment to talk about mindset. One of the biggest challenges Don Ernesto faced wasn't physical, it was mental. After years of feeling stuck, it's normal to start believing that there's no way out, that things will only get worse, that the pain is now a permanent part of life. But here's the thing, your body listens to your mind. When you decide to accreditar, your body responds in ways you can't even imagine. This was a turning point for Don Ernesto. The day he said to himself, "I'm tired of vivere sim," everything started to change. Fear was also part of his journey. Fear of falling, fear of making the pain worse, fear of trying and failing. And maybe you're feeling the same way right now. But here's a gentle reminder. Doing nothing is also a choice, and it's often the worst one. Small, low-impact movements, guided by a professional, along with the right nutrients, are incredibly safe and effective ways to start reclaiming your health. The worst thing you can do is remain paralyzed by fear. Another emotional barrier for many people is the feeling of loneliness. Dealing with chronic pain and reduced mobility can isolate you from friends, family, and social activities. Don Ernesto went through this phase too. But as his energy and mobility improved, he slowly reconnected with the people around him. Socializing, laughing, walking with company. All these things became possible again, and they played a crucial role in his continued improvement. It's also worth mentioning that patience was key in his journey. The first week didn't bring miracles. The first month brought small improvements. But by the third month, the transformation was undeniable. His posture improved. His steps became more stable. His mood changed. He smiled more. He laughed more. And he became a living testimony that with consistency, the body adapts and responds, even at 90 years old. One thing Don Ernesto loves to say now is, "I don't need to run a marathon. I just want to walk to the bakery without pain." And maybe that's your goal too. Maybe you just want to climb stairs without stopping halfway, or play with your grandchildren, or simply get out of bed in the morning without that horrible stiffness. Whatever your personal goal is, it's valid, and it's possible. Let's talk about motivation. Setting small, achievable goals can make all the difference. For Don Ernesto, the first milestone was walking from the living room to the front gate without stopping. The next was doing it twice in a row, then walking to the corner store. And each little victory brought him closer to the life he wanted back. Celebrate every progress. No matter how small, they all count. If you've been taking medications for joint pain or muscle weakness for years without real results, it might be time to complement your treatment with nutritional support. Vitamins won't replace medications when needed, but they can enhance your body's ability to repair, strengthen, and reduce inflammation naturally. Always talk to your doctor before making changes, but don't underestimate the power of targeted supplementation. Another tip, keeping a health diary can help you track your improvements. Don Ernesto used to jot down how he felt each day, how far he walked, and how much pain he experienced. Over time, looking back at those notes gave him the motivation to keep going. When you see progress written down, even the smallest changes feel like big wins. Also, don't forget about balance exercises. As we age, our proprioception, the body's ability to sense its position in space, declines. Simple activities like standing on one foot while holding onto a chair can help retrain your balance system. Combined with the right vitamins, this creates a double benefit: stronger muscles and better coordination. Lastly, stay inspired. Follow stories like Don Ernesto's. Surround yourself with positivity. Watch videos, read articles, talk to people who've gone through similar journeys. The more you fill your mind with examples of overcoming, the more you'll believe it's possible for you too. Because it truly is. Now that you know the full story of Don Ernesto and the powerful role these 6 vitamins played in his transformation, it's time to turn the spotlight onto you. How are you feeling today? Are you experiencing that same heaviness in your legs? The sharp pain in your knees? The exhaustion that makes you think twice before even getting up from the couch? If the answer is yes, I want you to know This doesn't have to be your forever. Imagine for a second waking up tomorrow with more energy, feeling confident enough to go for a walk, climbing stairs without holding onto the railing, bending down to tie your shoes without that shooting pain in your joints. It might sound distant right now, but believe me, with the right steps, this can become your reality in the coming months. Don Ernesto is living proof of that. Your next move doesn't need to be complicated. Start by making an appointment with your doctor and requesting some basic blood tests. Check your vitamin D levels, B12, and magnesium at the very least. These three alone can already reveal a lot about what's happening inside your body. From there, with proper guidance, you can decide the best way to adjust your diet or start a supplementation routine. Also, don't underestimate the power of small, consistent changes. Maybe today you'll add an extra glass of water to your routine. Tomorrow you'll go for a 5-minute walk. Next week, you'll start including more colorful fruits and vegetables on your plate. Little by little, these habits will build the foundation for a healthier, stronger, and more mobile you. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, that's normal. Change can be scary, especially when you've been living with discomfort for so long. But every journey begins with a single step. And today, listening to this story and learning about these vitamins, that's already your first step. You're showing that you care about your body and your future. Don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Share it with someone you love, maybe a friend, a parent, or a neighbor who's also struggling with mobility and pain. Sometimes, all it takes is one conversation to change someone's life path. Just like Don Ernesto's journey started with a simple chat with his physiotherapist, yours, or someone else's, could start right now. Let's make one thing clear. This isn't about looking for perfection. It's about reclaiming your independence, your joy, and your right to move freely. Life has so much more to offer when we're not held back by pain, and you deserve to experience that again. So, if this message resonated with you, here's my heartfelt invitation. Take action today, whether it's booking that doctor's appointment, buying those nutrient-rich foods, or simply deciding to believe that change is possible. Do something. Your body is ready to respond. It just needs you to give that first signal. And finally, remember this. Aging is inevitable, but suffering doesn't have to be. Don Ernesto's story is living proof that with the right nutrients, the right mindset, and a little bit of daily effort, you can write a new chapter in your life. One where movement comes with ease, steps feel lighter, and each day is lived with more energy and less pain. Now it's your turn. What small step will you take today? Whatever it is, know that I'm cheering for you, and your future self will too.